Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to learn how to replace the catalytic converter in a Chevrolet Cobalt 1st Gen. Now the vehicle we're specifically working with today is the 2.2 liter LS Chevrolet Cobalt, and it's a 2007. This procedure can also work for the other Cobalts, however the procedure might be a tad different because they either one, use different parts, or two, it's just designed differently altogether. And I know especially with the SS, it's a 2.0 liter engine, so it could just be a little bit different workaround there. But all around it should basically be the same, but just keep an eye out for that. I'm going to provide you with everything you need, ranging from torque specs, part numbers, and just provide a detailed step-by-step instructions in this video. So without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, today we're going to be replacing the catalytic converter. The catalytic converter location is going to be back here, it's behind the engine, connected to the manifold, which there should be a shield on there, but I ain't got a shield for that, but that's okay. But anyways, we're going to be doing that right there. As you can see, there's a hole right there where my oxygen sensor used to be. We'll talk about that later. But as for now, just know that that's where that is. Now, first things first, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take the vehicle and we're going to have to lift it up and get it up on some jack stands and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and lift the vehicle up. I'm going to be using ramps today, but since that oxygen sensor is missing, I'm going to have to jack it up and then put it on ramps because I don't like working on just the jack stand or a jack in general. Too dangerous in my honest opinion. But yeah, so let's get this lifted up. Alright, so now when it comes to jacking up the Cobalt, there's a couple places you can use. One, there's the pinch welds along the side of the rails over here or over there. I don't like using the pinch welds. I think they're a little brittle, in my honest opinion, especially with the jack that I'm using. So what I'm either going to do is I'm going to be using one of the frame components. So that's either the lower control arm. So like there's the frame right here. That's one of the connections of the lower control arm, and then there's another one farther down there. I don't think I trust that one just because it's not completely like a sealed unit, not like this one right here. So that's how you can tell if it's one of the frame components, because it's really strong. But I'll probably just come down here to the front right here. See that right there? This is a front brace frame. This is honestly what I'm probably going to use. See, that's pretty strong there too. But you can hear the difference too whenever you come down here to the pinch welds. And I even have a lift point as well. So I'm behind the front wheel right here. And here's a lift point right here. Listen to the sound and how thin this is. Hear how thin that is, and that's why it's also concaved. That's why you don't want to use this if you're doing lifting a vehicle with a jack stand. This is for a lift. It's for 4 points at once. There should be another one back there somewhere, but I'm not looking for that right now. Maybe right there, but I'm not looking for that right now, so I'm not using that, and I definitely don't want to use the pinch welds, which it still sounds strong. You can kind of hear it, but I don't like how thin it is. You can see right here, I've jacked it up before with my jack, and it's kind of bent it this way, so I don't want to do that. So I'm going to try to use that frame, or I'll just use the front brace. So let me go ahead and get to that, because I want to be able to lift the tire up enough just to get a ramp on it. So I got to lift it pretty high, about yay tall, about half the tire height. So let me get my jack and we'll do that. Alright, so I had to do a change of plans. Couldn't really do the center because it wasn't lifting it up enough, and oddly enough it was lifting this side more than it was that side, which I didn't like that situation. So I went ahead and just went under here, went under the frame next to the lower control arm, which some people might not like because that frame's a little curved there. But if you got a big enough jack with a big enough pad, she'd be okay. But anyways, I got enough to put a ramp under there. I'm going to lower that down, set it on there, and then I'm going to go to that side and do the same thing. Alright, so we got the vehicle jacked up on some ramps. Shouldn't need that jack anymore, so that can just go away for now. Actually, for the rest of the day, I don't even need it anymore. But now that that's all done, we can start working on the catalytic converter and removing its components to take it out and replace it. Alright, so in the scheme of saving y'all time, the first thing we're going to remove is your oxygen sensor connectors. Not the oxygen sensors themselves, not the catalytic converter, but the connector for the oxygen sensors themselves. That way you can disconnect those, disconnect the catalytic converter, then move it out, and the sensors will come out with it, which you could keep those and remove them and install them in your new one. I'm not doing that. I got new sensors. The sensor 2 post catalytic converter, that one's actually already a new sensor, so I will be removing that and show you how to do that, yada yada. But my first one, which I showed y'all earlier, it's missing because that got stripped because, yeah, not my fault. But anyways, so whenever we're locating the connectors for the oxygen sensors, as you can see here, there's one right here. As you can see, this is the Bank 1 Sensor 2. This is the post catalytic converter sensor. Now, if we look at this, you got a little blue dongle right there, and it's going through a little tab. That's a safety device. That has to be removed by taking the end of the dongle right there, sliding it out, and then there's a tab in the back here, I believe, that you'll need to press, and then you just pull those apart. Now, there is a Christmas tree clip. I hate those, by the way. That's connected to that piece of metal right there, and that's keeping it still. It could come out, and if it does come out, it might make it a little easier, but that is your preference. I'm going to leave that on there because I don't want to jack with that. I hate them. The sensor 1 is a different story. Honestly, I don't even know where my connector went ever since I touched that. It's somewhere here in the engine bay, but you can find it by coming down here. There's a little hole back here in this slot where the Christmas tree, I think that's it. Actually, that looks a little big. I'm pretty sure that's it. But that's where your sensor, Bank 1 Sensor 1 connector is going to be sitting. I don't know where my sensor connection is. Actually, there it is. Hey! All right, so there it is. There's my Sensor 1 connector. Way down there. Can I reach that? Come here, buddy. I want to show you all how they... Oh, no, it doesn't even have the Christmas tree on there. Okay, so that's just a connector, and there's the dongle. That dongle is actually broken, by the way. But anyways, that's where your... That should be where it goes on, unless it's that right there, but that's the thermostat. I'm pretty sure it connects to the block somewhere, and that's it. But it'll be in this area, towards that side of the engine. So, maybe not. We'll see. You'll see it. It's that connector. But anyways, now that we've found those, we can get to removing those, and then we'll go under the vehicle, remove the converter. Alright, so I lied. I found the actual point where that Sensor 1, Bank 1 Sensor 1 is going to connect. So come down here, and it's actually on your thermostat. So that's your thermostat right there. Come down a little farther, and you see that little hole right there? It's right next to your connection. It's going to be right there. So that's where your Bank 1 Sensor 1 is going to be located. And now that we've finally figured that out, let's get back to the catalytic converter. Or the sensors, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to show y'all without blocking the camera, but I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, I'm running on my engine, so yeah, you're not going to be able to see that unless I go through here, maybe. There we go. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so here's that dongle. Slide that out. And then I'm pretty sure it's back here. Let's see, where is... Okay, so you see that tab that we just pulled it out of? You're going to take that and lift it up, and they're going to slide it out. Just like that, and it's removed. All right, I want to show y'all something just so you're not confused when you're trying to do these connections and then you're trying to undo it from the system. So here is your Bank 1 Sensor 1. This is what goes pre-catalytic, and this is its connector. So its connector is the Christmas tree. Now, if we look at post-catalytic converter, so Bank 1 Sensor 2, come down here, this is its connection, which mine has oil on it, and that may be why I had a code again. I don't like that. So I did have a code, and this might actually be why. Yeah, oil. I'll have to get some electronic cleaner in that, because I had some funky readings for my post-catalytic. So I'm going to leave that there for now. And focus on this catalytic converter now that we have disconnected its connections. So let's get to that. Alright, so first and foremost, we're going to be removing the 3 bolts that connect the catalytic converter to the intake, or the exhaust manifold, sorry. Now there's 3 bolts, and it's kind of routed in like a triangle fashion. You got one up top right here. Let me zoom in for you. There's one up top right here. Not that one, but the one down there. And then there's one right there. So it's almost like a triangle. All 3 of these, they're nuts. They're not bolts. They're all 15mm sockets. And those are going to be the 3 that we remove first. So we're going to go under the vehicle, most likely use an extension, because I don't want to go through the top. So look at here. You can see firewall is completely deteriorated. This stuff itches and burns. Don't touch that. Go through the bottom. Whenever I was first removing the O2 sensor, got it all up my arm and it broke out in hives. Sucked. So don't touch that. That's no good. No good. But yeah, let's go underneath the engine or underneath the car and we'll get to those bolts. Alright, so for the next part, we're going to be removing those bolts like I said. So here's the front right passenger tire. Squeeze through here. We come up. Bada bing, bada boom. There's our exhaust manifold bolts. There's one, and then there's 2, and then of course there's the one on the other side of this, but we'll get to that one in a second. So we're going to remove those 2. Let me see here. Let me grab my tool real quick. Alright, so I got my breaker bar. I went ahead and changed the angle of the camera because y'all couldn't really see crap and I kept bumping into the camera. So let's see here. Let's see how easy these break. These shouldn't be too hard, but they are rusted on there. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's not bad at all. Okay, so they are only like 30 foot-pounds of torque, if I remember right. Let's try this one. Oh yeah. And that one's getting tight again. I don't like that. I may have to wiggle this one back and forth. Try it again. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I may have to spray some PB Blaster or clean them threads. I'll just wiggle it back and forth. That always seems to work. So I'm going to keep doing this until I get this nut off, and then we'll see how it looks whenever I'm done. So let me fast forward a bit. Alright, so I got this one finally loose enough so that I can actually work on it. Went back and forth on it for about a good 5 minutes before it stopped getting snug. Should be good now. I hope. Last thing you want to do is go and try to wrench it off. That don't look good, actually. I don't like that. Last thing you want to do is try to wrench it off as hard as you can, and all you're doing is stripping a thread. That don't look too good. Oh, cool. Alright, awesome. Ooh, I was right. That could have been bad. Wait a minute. I don't like how that looks. Is that normal? Does that look normal to you guys? Okay. Well, I'm going to put that to the side, and it may just be a stud. That looks like it's just a stud, actually. I'm hoping. Let's see if the same thing on the other side happens. Alright, just about got this one off too. Looks like it may be the same thing. I'm hoping. Still can't do that by hand. Get tired of this, Grandpa. My arm hurts. Okay, so that's just how the stud looks. Okay, cool. It's normal, guys. It's normal. Crisis averted. Still looks weird, though. Okay, so that's off. Let's get to the other one, then. And it's probably best if you keep the same studs on the same hole, just so that you don't mess anything up. Just a warning. But I'm going to place those to the side, and we'll try to get that top one off now. Somehow. Okay, so looking at it from the top, we may just have to go at it from the top with a wrench. Maybe. That's an option. Let me grab a wrench. Alright, so a wrench is definitely easier, but here, let me show y'all, by the way. So here's the wrench, and there, plenty of space compared to going from underneath. The only problem is that this one is kind of snug, so I'm going to have to wiggle it back and forth like I was, which I already loosened it a tad bit just to make sure I had enough room. I'm not going to push it back down just to make sure I don't strip it. If I can even reach in there, I may have to switch hands every time too. Which that looks like it may be the case. Oh, okay, that wasn't too bad. Cool. See, wiggling it back and forth always seems to help out. It was really stuck at first, now it's coming out. Not the best, but, you know, a little easier. I'm going to fast forward a little bit past all this. Now, something I do want to show y'all before I take this bolt off, and I'm still not completely close, but I do want to show you something. Watch this. So I loosen this stud, right? And let's see look at the gap here. I don't know if y'all can see it, but there's a gap here on the converter, because as soon as this goes, yeah, you see that? As soon as that stud goes, well, there goes my light. But as soon as this stud goes, this whole part of the catalytic converter is going to go boom. Something the service manual says to do is to take this converter, and you see the frame back here. I know it's kind of hard to see, but there's a frame back here. You need to set that slowly on the frame. Don't let it just BAM, because you don't want to mess up the rest of the exhaust system. So loosen this stud and slowly lower it. Man, I don't even have any light now to see myself. I'm going to use my phone. I'm going the wrong way now. Here we go. Okay, let's see. Alright. There goes the stud. Take my converter. Ooh, you hear that? I don't like the sound of that. That sounded wet. Why did it sound wet? So when I walked away, I heard more water noises, and I looked. It was my gasket. Nothing wet at all. Just my gasket came off. Be sure to watch out for that gasket and remove it, and you may have to use a wire brush to get the rest of it off if it comes off in pieces. Just so you know. The more you know, right? So now that that's done, let's get to the rest of the converter. We'll move on down back here. And I know you can't see it, but there's a spot right there. I'll get my light in a second. It's going to be right there. Alright, so now that we got a light again, come back down here. So as I said, the part we're going to be doing with next, so you have this down here, and this is what we're going to be doing next. So here's your passenger side tire. Come back down here, and it's right before this little bulb right there, or a resonator, I guess you could call it. It's going to be right there. There's two bolts holding it together, and I'm pretty sure they're 15mm bolts again, but we'll find out in just a moment. So let's go check that out. So here's these two bolts like I was showing you, or nuts. Now the 15's kind of loose on them. I mean, it's like right there, but the 14's really tight. I don't know if that's because of maybe the rust. So I grabbed a little brush here to see if I can't just get off some of the rust and see if maybe it'll make some of that fit a little better. I'm not sure. I don't think it will. I mean, it never hurts to try, right? I mean, it's been exposed to the elements for how long now? Yeah, it's still a little too tight for my liking. So I guess we'll just stick with the 15. I just hope I don't want to round them off, because that is I guess it's not too bad. I'll give it a try. Let me grab my wrench and we'll give that a whirl. So since the wrench worked so good last time, I'm going to go ahead and use this again, especially since it's in a tiny, smaller place. So I just don't like how loose that feels. The 14 is real tight, like it's right on it, but it's just not going all the way. No, 14 is going right on it. So these may actually be a 14 millimeter, because this is on it now. Yeah, I think we'll just stick with the 14 on this one for now. But be careful though, you see how this is moving? Remember, the catalytic converter's being just held on by the frame right there. Oh my goodness. I'm tightening it, didn't I? Let me see this real quick. Ow. No. Yes, I am. I'm tightening it. Okay. Well. Okay, let's try it this way now. Oh my word. Okay, well, that's tight. Give me a moment. Alright, so I have not been able to get them bolts off. They're rusted pretty tight on there. So I'm going to do two things. One, I'm going to spray a whole crap ton of penetrating oil on there. Hopefully it'll cut that rust. And then I'm going to take that piece up there. I'm going to stick the studs back in there. Just that way it has some bite. Because right now it's real wobbly. So that's not helping my situation as far as loosening them bolts. So I'm going to retighten those. Just the bottom two. Probably just get them snug again. That way it keeps it from moving. And then that'll hopefully help me loosen that up without twisting the whole exhaust system, especially since it's on the rubber grommets on there, which it still might move, but hopefully not as much since it's closer to the catalytic converter. So I'm going to do that, spray some of that, and then see what that does. Alright, so penetrating oil has been on there for a little bit, and I went ahead and reattached some studs. They're not snug though, so we'll try to be a little careful. And I actually found out that a 9/16 fits this perfectly. So we're going to try that now. Oh Lord, still not doing what I need it to. Okay, let me do this then. Oh, that's not budging. Okay. Well, I may have to use heat then. I don't know why I didn't think about this at first. I should have just done this in the first place. Let's see. Alright, well, I'm out of options and I can't get this nut off, so time to go back to Old Faithful. You know what that is? Burning it. Alright, so doing this can be very dangerous, and since I did spray some penetrating oil, I'm going to grab my little flare right here and make sure that I dried it off good and there's no residue that's going to catch flame, because it is a flammable gas, whatever. Which it looks a-okay. I don't see no random smoke or nothing. Oh, yeah, saw that right there. I don't know if that was the rust or the vapor, but still, should be good. Be very careful when doing this. Burn the piss out of it. It's going to be real hot whenever you're starting to mess with this, so be very careful, alright? A lot of people would get this super hot, but I don't want to do super hot. I just want to do it hot enough to where it will hopefully break that seal. I'm going to try it first with a wrench. If not, I'm going to use my impact. Should just use my rim pack in the first place. Oh yeah, that's one. Alright, let's see. Oh Lord. Nope. Okay, I'll grab my impact. Still no. Okay. Alright, so I have a jack and I have it underneath it to hold this up so that it don't move. Well, I mean, it moves a little bit, but nowhere near what it would have. I may have to reset that now. But anyways, I got my long boy right here, and I finally freaking loosened the bolt a little bit. I'm going to try to do it again, but yeah, hopefully I got it. Here we go. Oh, ha 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 ha. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Oh, now hopefully it's not getting stripped. Get over there. Good Lord. Is it stripped? I can't tell. I don't think so. Nah, we Gucci. Alright. Freaking finally. Okay, let's go get the other one now. Okay. Hey. Oh, woohoo! Alright. Hey, give me that back. Give me that. Okay. Let's see this here. Just please don't strip. I don't feel like it is. Good, good. Give me my socket. Thank you. There we go. Alright. Alright, now that those nuts are off, I'm going to go back to the converter and, or the exhaust manifold and take off those two studs that are tightened. Alright, so I dropped my jack just a tad bit so that I could drop the exhaust, come back up in the front and the back, and you're going to try to lift it up and push towards the front of the vehicle, if you can, till the back slides out. Come on, a little more. Just like that. And you'll slide it out towards the back. Just like that. It's out. Get me the crap out of here. Oh! Alright, so the converter is out, and let me show you why I'm placing it. Look at the threads. That is jacked up. And so, whenever I... Oh, hang on. What is going on here? There we go. So whenever I first was doing my work on this, I was just replacing the O2 sensor, the Bank 1 sensor 1. The only problem is I deduced that it's already been tampered with, and whoever did it last they tightened it on there, but whenever they did it, they didn't set the threads correctly. So it was in there, but it stripped the threads in the process. So it was like a tight strip. So, and the reason I deduced this is because the Christmas tree part on it was messed up, as if it was already taken out before. And if you have a new part, or if something hasn't been messed with, it's not going to be difficult to take out, you know? Or it's going to be difficult to take out because it's in there good. But this wasn't, it just came right out. So I deduced that someone had replaced it before, but they had it in there just enough to where it jacked up the threads and it wouldn't come out. So whenever I came along and took it out, it was really difficult to take out. I had issues, and it ended up, you know, finding the threads were stripped. So now that it's out, I got the new one. Threads won't be stripped, and now I can get rid of that piece of junk. So now that that's out, let's take out this O2 sensor, show you how to do that. We'll go to our new converter, and then we'll insert both the new, that one's still new by the way, both the new oxygen sensors, and we'll go from there. Alright, so now we're going to remove the catalytic converter's O2 sensor, or the post O2 sensor. You can do this both ways, or two ways. You can either use an oxygen sensor, which is a tool specifically for removing oxygen sensors. This is usually what you would use in tight spaces because it slips through the wire, and you do it that way. Or since it's already out, you can just use a regular wrench, but I'm going to use something that's already designed for it, which this is a 22 millimeter or a 7/8 if y'all so happen to want to use just a regular wrench. So usually these are pretty tough to get off with it. Since this one's new, it shouldn't be too big of a deal. Okay, maybe there will be a little bit of a deal. Bruh, you haven't even been on there that long. Okay, give me one moment. Oh! Alright. Okay. So, just like that, it's off. I guess it was on there long enough just so that it could kind of, just enough so that it could seize on there, which sucks, but that's okay. So, there's that. Check the threads, make sure everything is a-okay. Which there's already a little bit of soot on there, but not too bad. But other than that, that's out. And if you don't already, probably a good idea to put a little bit anti-seize on there, because if you're taking it out from the old one, that anti-seize is going to be gone, which is why this was already kind of stuck in there. But anyways, that's out. So let's go to our new one and install the new O2 sensors. Alright, so here is our new catalytic converter. Very nice, very shiny, and it is definitely lighter than our other one. Definitely lighter. I can put them on it pretty easy, so I don't know if it's made out of a lighter steel or maybe aluminum, I don't know. But either ways, this is brand, model for this one. So that is that. Now if we look at the O2 sensor locations, there are nuts in the way. So we just got to take these off real quick. I don't know what these are, but I'm going to find out real quick and then we'll take them off. Actually, this is a 13/16. There's that one. Oh, it's weird, the rubber. Huh. Look at that. It's already stripped the thread. Crazy. Good thing it's rubber and not metal. I would be pissy. This other one. There's that one. What's that? More rubber caught, stripped. Where's that metal? Grab a pick real quick. Pretty sure that's more rubber. Let's see. There we go, that'll work. Rubber, that's all it is. Bunch of freaking rubber. Okay. Should be good there. Look inside, I'm gonna check the honeycomb. Oh, look at that. Why is it so rusty? What the frick? That's okay. Alright, so that's that. Time to put our O2 sensors on. Alright, so when installing the O2 sensor, make sure it's got anti-seize on there. I don't. That's okay though. So we're going to slowly slide that on there. Just to make sure the threads are lined up. Looks good. Now the torque spec for these, I'm going to go ahead and grab my O2 socket. And I'm going to get it snug. But the torque spec for these are 31 foot-pounds of torque. 31 foot-pounds of torque. Don't know what that is in Newton meters, but 31 foot-pounds of torque. Alright, let's get that nice and tight. Grab my torque wrench. Torque and spec. Alright, that's torque to spec. I turned a lot more than what I liked, but that should be okay. Grab my other O2 sensor and we'll torque that one on as well. Alright, so here's the other one. This one is like new. It's definitely got anti-seize from the factory on it. And this one's going to be put on right this time, unlike the previous owner. Okay, that's good. Make sure the threads are good. That's good. Get nice and snug. Grab a torque wrench. Get to torquing. Oh man, why'd it turn off just now as I'm using it? There we go. Try it one more time, huh? Alright, and that's good. Every time it turns off every time I get to it, so that's good there. And now we can install our catalytic converter. Once your converter's out, don't forget to come back over here and take off this gasket. Oh, I see. Carnation. There we go. That's off. Make sure you trace the edge and make sure it's all clean and make sure that it's free of debris or other gasket matter, which it looks like mine may still have a little bit over here somewhere. So I'm going to clean this off. I'm going to clean these threads as well with some DW40. That way I can get the nuts on nice and slick. Not slick, but that way I don't strip them because that dirt's not bueno. And then we'll install our catalytic converter. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to be taking these nuts, brass brush, as well as the exhaust manifold holes, in the engine. I'm going to get some DW40, and I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to kind of get in between those threads. That way there's no dirt or grime in there. That way when we tighten these on, we don't have any issues with the threads. And it'll be nice and smooth in and out, unlike how it's been. It's real hard to take out and real gritty. So we're going to fix that problem, and then we can get to installing everything. Oh yeah, this is going to go in real nice. Really nice. Alright, and there is your difference. Look at the insides. It's going to go on so much better. Alright, now that everything's nice and clean, we're going to take our new catalytic converter and we'll shove it into the engine. Alright, now before we throw this in the engine, we got to know what the orientation is of this catalytic converter, or at least how it's supposed to look when it's in there, and the position it's going to be in. It's going to be like so. You're going to have the exhaust down, and you're going to have the catalytic converter facing up in this orientation, and that's how we're going to be putting it inside the engine. We're going to start with the lower first, and then we're going to move on to the top. Alright, now before we put this converter in, first and foremost, don't forget your gasket. Slap that on here. Make sure it's fully seated. If not, it'll fully seat itself later. So set that on there. Pull this up. Watch out for your O2 sensors. And I'm going to try to slide it up here first, up near the exhaust manifold, and then I'll try to put it onto them studs. Once again, watch out for these O2 sensors. Alright, that's on. Help me out by pulling this back exhaust down to give me a little more slack. Make sure everything can line up okay. It looks like we're good to go. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take my nuts and I'm going to go ahead and thread them on. Oh, yeah, these are already going on way better than they were before. Still kind of gritty, but that's because of the studs themselves. And I'm going to go ahead and slide these on, and I'm just barely snug, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to get it on there tight and then I can't move it around, because I want this to be flush, right? I want both the shapes to be in line so that it has plenty of flow, but I also want to still be able to mess with the front up there towards the catalytic converter and make sure that's snug too. That way I can get it fit and snug on both sides. That way I don't have any issues later on. So I'm going to leave it just like that to where I can kind of move it, but it can still just kind of be set in a certain spot like that. And go mess with the front. Alright, so we're at the front. We'll go ahead and grab one of our studs. I'm going to slide it through. I'm going to take my gasket, go ahead and slide it on that stud. That way it's already on one. I'm going to go ahead and slide it up. Try to get it into position. Tighten on that stud if I can. Okay, should be okay, I think. I'm going to go ahead and grab another one of my studs. I'm going to slide this gasket up like so till it's in line. Get my other stud. Try to wiggle it through. Like that. This one's being a little stubborn. I don't know why. That's alright though. Alright. And I'm going to leave that one just like that for the moment. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go up top. And I'm going to do that stud up there next. So let's go up there and try to get that one on. Alright, now we're going to put this stud through the top one. Once again, watch out for the firewall. It'll make you real itchy. If you need to, bring your hand down here and give it a little adjustment. As long as these bottom ones are loose, you'll have free range to move this however you need to, which we'll need. So I'm going to slide my stud through, make sure that it's through the gasket. And then I'll probably bring my other hand down here, maneuver it with my left one. Try to get it in that stud as much as I can. And we got it. Okay, cool. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab my wrench. I'm going to go ahead and get these a tiny bit snug. And then we're going to move down to the one down there and get that a little more snug. Alright, so I got these on there. They're snug, but they're not snug. As you can see, I still have a little bit of wiggle room for my gasket. I did this so that I can still maneuver it just a tad bit, even though it's not going to move that much because these are pretty snug in there. This is designed to where once it's in, even if it's, you know, a little loose, it's not really going to move that much. And if you look at it, it looks a little weird, don't it? The things aren't really lining up, but that's how this is designed. And I know it may look funky, but it is designed this way because, after all, this is an aftermarket one. It's not meant to fit the exact OEM, but it's still going to be sealed as long as the flow is correct. You shouldn't have anything to worry about. So now that that's a little snug, I'm going to go down to the bottom to the exhaust, and I'm going to tighten those up and make sure those are lined up now. Alright, so now that we're down here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my exhaust, I'm going to lift it up so that they're more flush. And I can move it around if need be, because this side can move around from side to side. I can move it left, or I can move it right if need be. And I want to make sure these are pretty even. So I'm going to lift this up, get them tightened and snug down just a hair more. And then I'm going to check each side, make sure that it's about even, which I think it should be golden right there. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my wrench and tighten it on. Okay, and that should be good there. Make sure everything about the same all around. There's no gaps in between anything. And that should be good there from what it looks like. So now that that is all said and done, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my torque wrench and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get these torqued to spec. And then we'll deal with our O2 sensor connectors and get those connected. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get these torqued on. I got my torque wrench. The torque specs for these are 30 foot-pounds or 30 newton meters or 22 foot-pounds. I'm using foot-pounds today because I'm American. Why not? Alright, so that one's good. Move on to this one. There's not a whole lot of room in here. And I guess that's good. Yep, alright. So those are good. Let's move out to the front to the catalytic converter. Alright, so we're going to get these torqued on. The torque spec for these are 50 newton meters or 37 foot-pounds. I'm going to use newton meters this time. Let's mix things up. So what I'm probably going to do is, these are still kind of loose a little bit, as you can see. They're not completely snug, so I'm probably going to get them all snug first. And then I'll torque them down, at least these bottom ones first. Oh. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and torque these two down, and then I'll get the top one up top. Alright, so that one's good. Let's get this one. Alright, that one's good. Now we can go ahead and move to the top and get that one torqued down. Alright, got my wrench. Get it as snug as I can. Okay, that should be good like that. Those are nice and torqued down, except for that top one. Now we can get our O2 sensors. Alright, so we're up top. Our upstream sensor is right here, and then our cord is right here. We come on this side, we'll see that we'll reach in and grab our cord. It'll be right here, kind of hard to see. Make sure this top tab right here matches with the tab up here. Grab the two, connect them. We're going to see if I can do it with one hand. I don't know if I'll be able to. Cool. Alright, so bring the two together until they click. Or at least until it's over that piece. Give it a little yoink. That should be good right there. Like so. Okay, so that should be good. Now normally you take this Christmas tree part right here and you'd slide it onto the side of the engine right here. But with this aftermarket one that I have, I guess it's a little far back. I can't get it to the point that it's supposed to be. I don't have enough room, so I'm just going to have to let it kind of dangle there, I guess. I don't like that, but maybe I can slide it next to the other one right here. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll just stay next to your other connector. Oh, also, by the way, that's your connector for your O2 sensor 2 right there. So now that we know where that is, let's go grab our cord and connect it. So we're back into the vehicle. If we look at our CV axle right here and then come up just a tad bit more, there is our Bank 1 sensor 2 connector. That's what we need. Come around the side here. Here's our O2 sensor. I'm going to grab this connector here. And if we look up, got these brake lines right here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to slide them up here. I'm just going to throw them all the way in there. Alright, maybe a little over right here too. And then I'm going to come up here. And if we look, this is our power steering rack right here. And if we look, there's a pipe right there. And I want my cord on this side of that so that I can have it closer to this guy. And I'm just going to take him, and I'm just going to go ahead and set him right there. He's not going to go anywhere. And I'm going to go ahead and go up top and then connect the two. That way I'm not struggling down here with all this little space. Alright, so we're in the same spot as before when we were up top connecting this sensor. Now down here, as we can see, here's our sensor 2 connector, and then right here, this is where we just put our connector. How about that? I'm going to take it, go ahead and slide it in till it clicks. Just like that, saw it pop in place. I'm going to grab the dongle here, and don't forget to do this on your sensor 1 as well. I'm going to slide it through the back of this tab, that way it doesn't come undone. If I can get it. Just like so. That's in place. And we are basically done. Oh! Alright, so now that that's all said and done, we've completed installing our catalytic converter, but we're not quite done yet. There's still one more thing we need to do. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do what's called a catalytic converter break-in period. And what that's going to do, if that's what this will need, because I don't know if things are different nowadays, or it depends on the aftermarket exhaust creator as well, or manufacturer. There's all these different little variables that could determine whether this needs to be done or not. But as a fail-safe, we're going to go ahead and do it anyways, just in case you might need it. So what is this break-in period? So what this does is there's something called converter matting, and it's a vermiculate that surrounds the honeycomb inside the catalytic converter. And what happens is whenever you heat up your engine, this vermiculite expands, kind of like popcorn. And what it does is it sets in place that honeycomb that's inside the converter. That way it doesn't move or jostle around. Anytime you've been out and about and you've heard a catalytic converter and it sounds like a spray paint can, you know, sounds like it's just rattling around in there. It's because they didn't do the break-in period properly, or they didn't do one at all. So that honeycomb is just in there bouncing around, and next thing you know, you got a bad catalytic converter, and when you open it up, it's just dust. It's because it rattled itself to pieces. Okay, so how do we do this break-in period? So in order to activate the vermiculite properly and set it in place so that the converter doesn't move around, we need to do a couple things. First and foremost, make sure there's no codes in the engine. If you have a code, clear it. You don't need no codes. Get rid of them. Second, we're going to start our engine and we're going to let it idle for 5 minutes. No more, no less. 5 minutes. Don't step on the gas, rev it, nothing. Just start it, let it idle. After the 5 minutes, we're going to rev it at 2,000 RPM for 2 minutes. No more, no less. Once again, 2,000 RPM at 2 minutes. After that, shut the engine off, let it cool down for 10 minutes. Your break-in period is complete. So once again, 5 minutes idling, 2 minutes at 2,000 RPM, and then cool off for 10 minutes, and then the break-in period's done. So now we know how to do that. Let's get to it. Alright, so we have finished with doing the whole break-in period and everything. I'm letting it cool down now. A quick note, whenever you do this, it's gonna stink and it's gonna smoke. You can kind of see it's a just tiny bit smoky. But the main thing is the smell and the burning smell, which is probably gonna scare you halfway through because you'll smell it right before you start the 2,000 rev period. And what that burning smell is it's the insulation or the vermiculite that's being formed. And you got to take into account, you got new gaskets on there and it's a new catalytic converter. Neither of which have seen over 1,000 degree temperature from the exhaust manifold or just from the exhaust in general, because that engine is going to produce some major heat before the catalytic converter, and that's what all that smell is. Now after that's done, open the hood, let it air out a little bit, get some fresh air because you're going to smell it. Definitely close your door while you're doing that. But if you do smell it, burning smell, just give it a quick peek after you're done with the whole break-in period because they don't take that long. It's just 2 minutes for revving it. And then give it some looks, see if there's anything, you know, leaking or anything that's moved, anything that's on fire. Shouldn't be on fire, but just watch it and observe it. And if it smells, let it smell. And now after this is all said and done, I'm going to start it again, and it will smell again because, you know, you're breaking it in over time as well, not just the first time. So it's going to smell every time you run the engine for the first few times. But other than that, it's completely normal. Don't worry about it. Don't freak out. I kind of did research, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, vermiculite. But other than that, that's that. You have completed this procedure. Good job. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the video. I hope that it helped you out and that you learned something new. I want to remind you all to check out the website, caswellskappa.wixsite.com, or the Caswell Kappa Center. Got all kind of other procedures on there for the Chevrolet Cobalt if you happen to need them. Outro is a little bit different this time because I forgot to do an outro, but that's alright. So, I'll see y'all next time. Until then.